All right, welcome to Chapter 6 Test Review Part 2. We are looking at the we do side first, and we're going to be taking a look in this first video at numbers 1 through 4. All right, let's zoom in a little bit here and get started. So this first one, number 1 here, says to solve with substitution. Handily, this particular problem is ready to go for substitution. So you can see that we have the x already by itself, and what that means is I can take this x value, come into the second equation, and replace that x with what it's equal to, 3y minus 2. And so we get the new equation, which is 4 times 3y minus 2, and then finishing out that equation plus y equal to 18. We're going to take this 4 now and distribute it through, giving me 12y minus 8 plus y equal to 18. Now we will combine my like terms together to get y 13y. So we have 13y minus 8 equal to 18. I would be adding 8 to both sides, giving me 13y equal to 26. At this point, we would divide by 13, which will get me my y value of 2. Using this 2 then, most of the time I wind up taking that and plugging it into the equation that already has the other variable by itself. And so what we wind up with then, notice that this is quite separate from what we've done before. I will replace the y with 2, and now I'll just do this little bit of math. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 2, of course, is 4. My final answer then is an x value of 4, a y value of 2, written as an ordered pair. If we hop over then to number 2, again, this one is solving by substitution. This time, however, one of my variables is not by itself, so I'm looking for a variable that has a coefficient of 1, and as I look at my problem, the only variable with a coefficient of 1 is this one right there, the y in the first equation. And so I'm going to take that particular equation and I will solve it for y. So the first thing I will do is come over here and do negative 4x plus y equal to negative 6. I will add the 4x to both sides, giving me a y equal to 4x minus 6. You are, of course, welcome to write negative 6 plus 4x. It doesn't matter which way you write that. I just like to have my x value first. Then we will take that 4x minus 6, go into the second equation. You have to go into the second equation. You cannot go back to the equation you just used. And I will replace that y with what it's equal to, which is the 4x minus 6. Copying down the first problem, we have 5x minus 2 times 4x minus 6, and then equal to 6. Do not forget that this is in fact a negative 2 that I will be sending through my parentheses to get 5x minus 8x, and then a double negative will make that plus 12 equal to 6. I will be combining these two like terms together, as well as subtracting the 12 from both sides, which gets me a negative 3x equal to a negative 6. Dividing by negative 3 will get me x equal to a positive 2. I'm going to use that positive 2 then to come up here into this particular equation and replace x with 2. So remember, this is sort of starting a new little section. Y will be equal to 4 times 2 minus 6, which means we get 8 minus 6, which is 2. And so I get the final answer of 2, 2, in parentheses, of course, because it is an ordered pair. All right, and there we are. Let's hop down now to number 3. Number 3, we are solving by elimination. It turns out there are a plethora of ways, of course, to work this particular problem. I am always looking for the simplest way, There are other ways to work this one. You can always find out if yours works by checking your answer against mine. If our answers match, then your way worked. So I'm going to take the second equation and I'm going to get rid of the x values, and I'm going to do that by multiplying that second equation by 3. That will give me the same number here. I've got a 3. This one's already negative. When I multiply by this 3, I'll get a negative 3, and that's what I need. Alright, so here we go. The first equation, of course, remained the same, and so I have my 3x plus 6y equal to 18. The second equation, when it gets multiplied through, we have negative 3x and then plus 9y equal to 12. And my x's will cancel. 6y and 9y will give me 15y, and 18 and 12 will give me 30. And when I divide by 15, I come up with a y value of 2. Choosing one of my equations to plug that 2 into, I am going to choose the top one so that I don't have to deal with a negative in front of that x, and so we have 3x plus 6 times 2 equals 18. 6 times 2 is, of course, 12, and when we subtract the 12 from both sides, we get 3x equal to 6. Dividing by 3 then gives me an x value of 2, which means my ordered pair is 2, 2, which is what my daughters often wear for dance, and that's number 3. Number 4 then is, again, solving by elimination. This one will wind up being just a little bit more complicated. I am going to have to multiply both equations by something. Now, again, I'm going to tend to choose numbers that I like to play with, instead of what I use. You could, of course, solve for something else. I will be solving and by getting rid of the x values, and so I am going to take the top equation, and I'm going to be multiplying that top equation by 5 so that my least common multiple of 20 can be arrived at. Then I'm going to take the bottom equation, and I will be multiplying that by 4. Now, unfortunately, both of those numbers that are in front of my x values, this 4 and this 5, they are both positive. One of my problems needs to be negative. I'm going to make the bottom one negative so that it kind of looks like I'm subtracting a little bit. So here we go. Distributing that 5 will give me 20x plus 15y equal to negative 5. Then distributing that negative 4 will give me a negative 20x minus 16y, and it's equal to a negative 4. Then when we go through and combine these two together, my x's cancel out. 15 minus 16y is negative y, and that will be equal to negative 9, which means that y is equal to positive 9. Using that positive 9 then, I go into either the first or the second equation. I think I am going to go into the second equation, which will give me 5x plus 4 times 9 equal to 1. And so I have 5x plus 36 equal to 1. Subtracting 36 from both sides will get me 5x equal to negative 35. Dividing both sides by 5 gets me an x value of negative 7, which means that my final answer then is negative 7, positive 9, and of course we put that in parentheses. Alright, so that's Chapter 6, Part 2, and this is the test review, and we worked on numbers 1 through 4.